contracting opportunities for qualified African American businesses here in Fort Worth or wanting to do business with Fort Worth. Talked about the pre-quals already. I won't get into a lot about each of these categories, but I'll just note something. Street marking, something people don't really think about that much. The line striping and painting that we do in the streets. I just recently signed a contract for $1.2 million for someone to help us to refresh street markings, crosswalks, the lines that you see, dividing lines, the yellow lines that go down the middle of the street. And we're sitting on a 4-month delay because there's not capacity, right? We got an extra $1.5 million last year in last year's budget from the council because there's such a great need in this area. And our issue is we're not finding capacity. We can't contract with enough people. There's not enough capacity in the marketplace that we're aware of. It may be that our projects are too small for some of the folks that are doing work for TxDOT and places like that, but I'm just saying that there seems to be room in the marketplace for more people to be that are if you're into that business. And I talked already about street lighting and sidewalks, but staff augmentation gets back to that comment that I made about the city's position that we're going into, where we're going to be in a hiring freeze. So we're already hiring inspectors. We probably have 7 or 8 contracts for outside inspectors to help us to inspect city infrastructure that's being constructed, make sure it's meeting our city plans and specifications before we accept it. There's also opportunities for construction management, engineering, project management. I mean, you go on, if you're in the consulting space, there are tons of opportunities and a great deal of need that we have for support in those areas. All right, and I provided here for you some of the key people. If you're making any notes of this, you might want to take down some of these folks. Lauren Creer, who is an assistant director over capital programs, so she'll be heading up the bond program work, all of the 18, 14, and 22 bond program work. Tanya Brooks is the assistant director over transportation management. Her department deals with both the intersections, street lighting, traffic signals, signalization. We're looking for, and we utilize a lot of third-party electricians, electrical firms that help us with our street lighting and our signalization projects. That's another huge area, as well as coordinating a lot of the sidewalk gap closures and the Safe Routes to School program. Greg Simmons heads up streets and stormwater operations, which means that all of our in-house and all of our pay-go contracted roadway work, resurfacing, curbs, gutters, storm drain work, all comes under Greg's department. Tanya and Greg, between these 3 people, they probably have 70 to 80% of TPW's staffing and budgets, operational budgets and capital budgets between those 3 groups. And that's why I put myself last, because these 3 folks are the folks that you really want to reach out to if you're interested in doing work for us. They work very closely with me on the process that we just went through, and they understand and are committed to our overall mission of expanding our capacity and closing the gap where we have equity issues as it relates to African American businesses doing work in the city. So with that, I'll stop talking and open up for any questions or comments or concerns.
Okay, great. I appreciate all of that and the time that you took to get everything together. Wow. I'm usually not at a loss for words, but you really gave us a lot of information. And one thing I need to say, I normally I'm not supposed to apologize for mistakes, but my cohort, Denise, is not here. She's my co-host, and she usually handles all the technical end. So I'm over here trying to do the technical as well as do the hosting. And it says that we're broadcasting live on Facebook, but I can't find us. So I probably didn't do something quite right. So normally we have able to ask questions from the audience. What I'm going to say is those who are actually here on the Zoom, if you would like to ask a question, I ask that you would just type it into the chat, or if you raise your hand, I may be able to elevate you. Well, just type it into the chat. You go to the bottom there, you'll see the chat. Just go ahead and type it in. And so from Jeff Postel, we do have a question. He's with the Postel Group, and he wanted you to confirm the City of Fort Worth TP and W pay terms. Want to know about the money. How am I going to get paid? How often? How long it take? William, you are muted.
How about that?
Okay, you good.
Yeah, it varies by contract, but I know that we have some contracts where it's 30 days. We've had contracts where pay requests are submitted after 2 weeks, and payments are supposed to be delivered 2 weeks following that. So 2 weeks after the receipt. So you work 2 weeks, submit a pay request. 2 weeks later, we can wire transfer funds, but it varies by contract. And we identified that as one potential barrier, especially for small businesses. I should point out that I've been a small business owner too. So I've been on the other side of the table, and I know how hard it is to make payroll. We had 72 employees, and I didn't have the cash sitting in my bank at that point to constantly keep up. I might have been able to cover 1 or 2 payrolls, but after that, I was going to be stuck. So we understand that, and we work with smaller companies here in Fort Worth, and I have in other places where we work with them on the pay cycle to help float payroll.
So I'm sure that was from Gwen Wilson. Wants everybody to know that her office, which is part of the Office of Diversity, will help you if you have that challenge to where you cannot, you don't feel like you're getting paid properly, or you need some help with that. So, and you can always contact her directly in the office at Gwen Wilson with the City of Fort Worth. Let me see. Yeah, contact her office. All right. Any other questions? So you guys can type directly into the chat, or you can raise your hand. And I already know that if we were open to the public, what you're going to get. They want to know why on the southeast side it's dark over there, and there ain't no sidewalks, and the stuff is towed down. I've heard it. Did you hear me, William? Are you back muted?
Oh, I didn't know that was a question.
Oh, well, they want to know why. They want to know why is that the case? That that it seems as though it's dark on the east side, and that the sidewalk is crumbling, or there is no sidewalk. They just don't feel like on the other side of town that they have the same types of problems. Can you speak to that?
Well, I can speak to what I know that we're doing about a lot of those things. One area that we really zeroed in was the 820 loop. And along that 820 loop, on the east side, we've had a series of issues with no lights. And we met with the state and figured out that there are actually people, and I've never run into this before, but people who pull up with service vans.
Oh, wow.
And they appear to be working on the system, but what they're really doing is stealing all the wire out of the system, out of that system. So I know in the last 3 years, we've spent over $500,000 repairing that stretch of lights. And we're working with the state now to try to design a more hardened access, if you will, so that it's going to be more difficult for unauthorized entry to gain access and be able to pull the cable out. But that's not just happening on that stretch, it's happening in a number of areas. I talked to our street lighting folks. At one point, we had 200 or 300 knockdowns that were backed up, where people have hit poles and knocked them down. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's more than I'm used to seeing. And we're working on it. So,
William, that's people from Dallas over here.
Probably so. But one of the other things that we're doing to try to address it, one, is looking for more capacity to help us with repairs, but also we're going to be doubling our request for street lighting in terms of funding. This 2022 bond program, in 2018, I think there might have been like 10 million. We're asking for 20 in 2022. And our city council has last year, increased funding in our operating budget for street lighting. They recognize that there's a problem. And we have identified areas that are kind of like target areas in terms of our focus in trying to concentrate investment in repairing the system.
So there's another question. Have you considered using more job order contracting for these areas where you're kind of going to have a shortage?
What we call job contracts?
Job order, JOC program, job order contract.
Like on-call type service, yeah.
Right.
I think we have a couple. I think we have a couple of those that are out there. I know I recently signed a contract. We just had another one come through. But if there are folks out there that have that capacity, I welcome you. Reach out for Tanya Brooks. Let us know who you are, where you are, and let us take a look at what your capacity is, what your capabilities are. So we're totally open to it. And we're about to get a fresh, like I said, a fresh new budget rolling in.
So Susan Richards, she's over in Stop 6. I forgot the name of the center she's involved with. But she's saying that, would you go over again about the types of skills? Because she's over there, she's trying to help citizens get the skills that they could use to be more successful if they want to create some type of business or so forth. Can you talk more, just go over again, the types of skills and services that you need more of, such as, I remember mentioning electricians, for instance.
Yeah, electrical firms that do electrical work can help us a lot with street lighting and our signalization. Everywhere we have a traffic signal in the city, it's got to be maintained, and we utilize third-party. In addition to our in-house forces, we utilize third-party companies to assist with that and with street lighting. We do a lot of concrete work. So if a firm has experience with concrete work, especially related to repair and or replacement or installation of sidewalks. That's going to be huge. We have a contract with a company that does almost nothing but ADA compliance, and that's creating the ADA ramps and at curb cuts for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, more concrete work. A number of streets here in Fort Worth are concrete streets. So when we talk about roadway repair, we're talking about concrete panel repair, as well as your typical or routine milling and paving, where we take an asphalt street, we take the top, 3 or 4 inches off of it, come back and resurface that street, along with any of what we call base repairs. If there are potholes or areas that have been washed out in the base, we go in and repair those before we resurface the street. So a lot of it is manual labor, a lot of it is skilled labor in terms of electricians, in terms of potentially for some of the framing around sidewalks. You may have carpenter workers, people who are skilled in carpentry, mason workers, etc.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, the one thing's for sure, in the DFW, there's plenty of opportunity for work. And so that is definitely a challenge. You mentioned, just FYI, you mentioned this stormwater, you're getting more money from that. I confess I was part of the folks that said, yep, we need to raise the price. I was on the committee, and we just found that there was just a lot of need. And unfortunately, in order to just even start trying to close the gap without just getting drowned, literally, that just some more money has to be spent in order to try to make a dent and try to make a difference. So I apologize to everyone that we did those types of things. So, and this gives me an opportunity to shoot this plug in. We are always looking for volunteers here at the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber of Commerce. You connect with me. My email is dbrewer@fwmbcc.org. dbrewer@fwmbcc.org. As you become part of the chamber, you have the opportunity to get on some of these committees and make a difference and have your voice be heard at City Hall. So rather than, there's a time and place for protesting, that's absolutely true, but there's also a time to sit in the boardroom and let's try to catch some of this stuff before it blows up in our face. So, and again, just wanted to plug that. Any other questions from the audience?
Can I just add one more comment? I've
Sure.
been, obviously I'm new to Fort Worth, but been very excited about a lot of the things that are happening here, the resources that are here, and a lot of the people that I meet here. But the only one thing that has been really, really disappointing is that while people are out protesting, we don't vote. I was shocked to find that, I can't remember how low the percentage is, but very, very low percentage of people that actually vote. So I just encourage everyone that to get out there and vote. If you like what's happening now, get out there and vote so you can keep it going. If you don't like what's happening now, there's a lot more to do than protests. We really need to mobilize, and I just like to share that with folks. I'm big on, doing what I can in our community, but talk is cheap. Voting is what people fought and died for, and let's do it. Vote like it's no tomorrow. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you for that. Somebody in the back of the office was shouting. So you touched a nerve with somebody. I totally agree with you. Well, I think you've really given us a lot to chew on. If you would would you share your screen one more time? And if you can, and I know I caught you off guard, but to just put up that last information page so that people can get that who were not here before. So Demetra Bivens, who's always marketing her business, she's awarded the contract with Cowan Place. That's the partnership between the City of Fort Worth Housing Solutions, and she's saying they're going to be training workers and hiring residents, so to participate in that endeavor. So please, Demetra, I think you did put your information at in the chat, which is great. So go ahead and contact Demetra, and I think it's one of your last slides, so that you can get in on that. I also want to mention to anyone who's out there who's involved in construction services. You know, I heard him say right-of-way acquisition. I know there's going to be some engineering, construction management, consulting. I think we really have to make sure that we kind of get involved in all of those things. And William, which just if you will just to the left of your screen there, you could just scroll all the way. I think you should be able to scroll down on the left of your screen there. You know, to the, well, if you hit, no, just to the left where all your different slides are. Yeah, okay, well, just go all the way down to click all the way down till you get to where Tanya and all those other people were. Yeah, there you go. I just wanted to put that screen up one more time for anyone who has any questions or who they need to contact. And if you would, maybe just kind of go over who does what exactly, Lauren and Tanya, William, just kind of let us know if I'm interested in this type of thing, go talk to these folks, that type, that's who handles those things. So I think you said about 70% of what you guys do will be handled in those 3 people.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, so Lauren has all of our capital programs. So all the bond program projects, major construction projects, roadway resurfacing, major bridge replacements, both the design, the right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation, and construction. So that's Lauren Preer. Tanya Brooks has got all of our transportation and traffic, so she'll have all the intersections. She has all of the signalization, all the street lighting. She's primary point of contact on sidewalks, at least where we're going to be installing them next. All of our lane markings and street markings. That's got all under Tanya Brooks' group. And Greg Simmons has our street operations and stormwater operations. So he's got the Stormwater Enterprise Fund and all of the associated projects underneath him. That includes design and engineering for drainage projects, as well as construction of a lot of those projects, which may include installation of new stormwater systems, collection systems or drainage systems, drainage improvements. We've got a major, believe it or not, development project that we're working on now just to clear out land that's been, paved over so that more of the water and the drainage can seep into the ground as opposed to running down people's streets and floating my garbage away in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. But it does. It does. We get the water overtopping on these streets that can be very dangerous, as well as our in-house resurfacing and some of our contracted third-party resurfacing and concrete repair and bridge repair work. So between those three, they have the bulk of transportation and public works budget underneath their groups for engineering, construction, and maintenance work.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, but if you could, let's go back to the other screen. Well, stop sharing, I appreciate it. That is awesome, and that's what we need to do. You want to get in contact. And one of the things I say all the time, if you are waiting till you see a bid come out, it's not that you're too late, but you're kind of behind. And if you were able to get connected with one of those assistant directors, they can let you know what's coming down the pike, what the plans are. If you have a product that maybe they don't know anything about that could help make things better, save money, save time. Like one of the issues I have personally is the streets when they get repaired, when they repair the pothole, I don't know, for some reason we can't get it flat like the rest of the street. I don't know if it's some kind of you have to estimate or something. It's not like you do in concrete where you can just make it smooth for some reason. It dry smooth, is up or down. I don't know. That's
yeah. We call that traffic calming, trying to slow the traffic down.
Well, it definitely does that. All right. Well, I think we've kind of come to the end of our economic development portion. I tell you, William, you've been very informative. And unfortunately, we didn't make it out live, but what we're going to do, I'm sure we will figure out how to repost this again so that we can make sure we get out more to the public. Because typically we have somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 viewers. You can also go to the website to find out about these jobs. By the way, you go to the chamber website at FWMBCC.org and go on our economic development. You can find the bids from the city of Fort Worth and other municipalities. You click on it and it will take you to their page. So information is there. We're here to support you. We can do some one-on-one counseling, connect you with this person or that person. If you're trying to do business with the city, that's what we're here for. So come get some of these millions. Again, William, I appreciate you taking the time to see us, and we're just gonna close out this portion, and hopefully we'll see you again not too long from now.
Okay, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
So now we're to the end of our webinar. We thank everyone for coming. Again, we do this every Tuesday from 3 to 4. We have our weekly webinar. We let you know what the chamber's been up to. We update you on what's happening within the city. And then we try to have someone informative on here that can help you out in this, certainly during this COVID time, but also in the future. Next week, and I'm excited to talk about this, we will have some African-American men who are building in the southeast sector of Fort Worth. Demetra, Alicia, I'm talking about in Southeast, so don't get mad because I didn't say that there are women over there, because I don't know any women. But we're going to have some men who are going to talk about what they're doing. We also have Southeast Inc., and we're just going to talk about building and building homes, economic development, and what these particular individuals are doing regarding Southeast Fort Worth. So we hope that you will join in with us. And until next time, y'all have a great one. Bye-bye.